It's another exciting Wednesday evening. Welcome to Ubuntu channel. Welcome to Meet Your Leaders right here. And of course, I am your host, Lance Sani Banda, taking you through this particular time as we get to talk about President Hakainde Hichilema's campaign promises. Of course, in a question format or in a question tag, we are asking, is President Hakainde Hichilema delivering his campaign promises? Of course, as you know that prior to the general elections in 2021, different political parties took it upon themselves to go flat out and campaign so that they may present themselves as better candidates to take Mother Zambia to the glory land, or to the land of honey and milk. And of course, out of that, President Hakainde Hichilema of the United Party for National Development was eventually voted as president of Mother Zambia. Now, he did not do it alone when he was campaigning. Obviously, he had a team with him that was always reminding him about the campaign promise, about what they're supposed to do for the people, and all this and that. And this particular evening on this channel, on this particular program, we are privileged to host Honorable Beene Hachoombwa, who is, of course, a presidential campaign team member, of course, talking about the mobilization committee. He is my guest, and we are having this particular chat right here. If you're joining us, you are welcome. Honorable, good evening. Welcome to the program.
Good evening, and how are you that side? Very well.
Well, I am doing fine. Thank you. Good to have you on the program.
No, we're so delighted to be here. Thank you so much.
All right. So quickly, let's get to introduce you to our viewers as you are featuring for the first time. Obviously, they want to know who exactly is Beene Hachoombwa, and of course, the portfolio that you carry with you.
Well, Beene Hachoombwa is a Zambian. We're Zambian. We are also a resident of Kanyama. We are proud of where we are coming from. Born and bred at Kanyama, Kanyama Clinic. We are a member of the UPND's presidential campaign team. We went round, campaigning for the president, and we managed to deliver the victory. And of course, Beene is a married man, a father of 2 boys. That is Beene.
All right, pretty interesting. I know for a fact that Beene Hachoombwa, meeting you in person, is a youth, and obviously this country has been crying so much of youth participation in the civic center or in the civic space. How was it, or how is it, you, a youth among everyone, selected to be a campaign member of the current president?
Well, what is important is, we needed to be available ourselves as young people. I think that is very important to mention, that young people should be available for leadership. I think the president himself is calling upon every young person who is interested in participating in this government. And, it was not an easy thing, of course, but courtesy of his trust, we were part and parcel of the campaign team, because the president believes that we understand what he believes in. Being in his campaign team for us, has been a privilege for us even to excel, explain more government policies. Before then, party manifesto, party policies, and what we believed in as UPND. And now we are still, for us, campaign does not stop, because when we score, it's a campaign promise. We've scored. So it is not an easy job, but we are managing, and we can assure you that, more young people now, we've opened the doors for the youth, because the youth were scared to join active politics, because they thought maybe in active politics you need to be you need to be like an old man. No, anyone can be in politics so long you have the aspiration to serve. And I want to make it very clear that ourselves in the UPND, we are not here, to eat, like our colleagues would say, ati atuwomba mwibala alia mwibala. For us, we are here to service the people of Zambia. That is the main point.
Now, looking at the fact that this team delivered, the president you were campaigning for is the man that is overlooking or overseeing the affairs of Zambia. Is this team still intact? Is it still there? Are you still campaigning for President Hakainde Hichilema, or it's disbanded? Your mandate was successful.
No, it is not disbanded. I want to make it very clear that our appointment letters have got no expiring date. So they're still valid up to now. And I want to tell you that for us in politics, campaigns have not stopped. For us, when we score in the ruling party, it's a campaign. We'll tell you how we scored it because we promised. So for those colleagues who are in government today, they have a mandate to execute what we were promising. For us is to check on them, remind them, and ensure that every promise is fulfilled. That's very important to mention. So the campaign team of President Hichilema, is still strong. If why is it still strong? Because the man is delivering, and when he delivers, we come and tell you how he's done it. And for us, it is a team that comprises of a lot of experts, educated people, economists, and others who sat down, of course, to look at, the UPND manifesto, etc. The UPND manifesto is what is working today. What are we seeing today? We've seen the debt restructuring deal being fulfilled. We've seen free education being fulfilled. We've seen CDF increase being fulfilled. Those are campaign promises. That's a campaign. So long these things have to happen, we have to exist also. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So we'll come to that. These promises that you've mentioned. We'll come to that as we maybe get to look at them one by one and scrutinize on how it has been possible, or if they fully have been actualized. But quickly, maybe a personal question. When you were given that appointment letter to serve on President Hakainde Hichilema's presidential team, did you see yourself after President Hichilema winning being appointed, in any of the appointments to serve in the
government? Not at all. Not. I think I needed to repeat this again. That for us, especially for me, you've directed it as a personal question. Beene Hachoombwa is a product of Hakainde Hichilema. And for me, what is important, if you like, what was important is not Beene Hachoombwa becoming minister, is not Beene Hachoombwa becoming PS, but what was important is the people of Zambia were retrieved, from the boat that was, going, to the west. And did we see ourselves being in any appointment in government? Not all of us can be in government. I want to tell you that appointments are a privilege of the president. And if the president feels, we need this one here, he's got his own privileges to make. But I want to tell you that if all of us go into government, then who will remain in the party? But just to give you a simple background, Beene comes from the business world. And for us, it's about entrepreneurship, It's about business, not jobs. Jobs are for those that wants to go into those offices to work. For us, it's an opportunity to enjoy a good environment to do business. So we are okay where we are, and what we want is, in the future, God willing, we service the people of Kanyama where we come from.
All right, our dear viewers, you are watching Meet Your Leaders on Ubuntu channel, and of course, this is the program that comes your way every Wednesday from 8 p.m. all the way to 9 p.m. or simply put 20 hours to 21 hours. And I am your host, Lance Sanibanda. This evening, I'm playing host to Mr. or Honorable Beene Hachoombwa, who is helping us discuss or answer the question, is President Hakainde Hichilema delivering his campaign promises? All right, so we'll be engaging you, our dear viewers, shortly, as we'll be sharing with you the studio link where you can join us live into the studio to express your view, ask a question, or simply to have your say on what you have seen so far. And of course, we'll be glad to also read your messages which you are sending beneath this particular broadcast. Now, Mr. Hachoombwa, quickly, let's come to the campaign promises that President Hakainde Hichilema made. So many of them, which President Hakainde Hichilema made, of which we've seen, or time and again, we've seen opposition political parties coming through or coming in to talk about them and constantly remind the UPND of these campaign promises and urging the UPND to deliver on these promises. So good to have you back, Honorable. Let's get to tackle the promises. Of course, President Hichilema made so many promises to the Zambian people, and let's get to look at the promises that he has scored so far. We are talking about the employment of 11,000 teachers, as well as the over 13,000 health workers. This has come with its own, ridicule from stakeholders, different stakeholders, or opposition political parties, saying these are conventional jobs which the government do. Each and every year, the government must employ a certain number of people in these sectors. So the UPND shouldn't celebrate this, this score of the promise. Mr. Hachoombwa, are you here? All right, my guests seem to be having challenges right there as far as network is concerned. But to you, our dear viewer, you can get to join us live into the studio through the link that we are sharing shortly with you. We would love to hear your side. We would love to hear from you. What do you think? What is your answer to this question that we are asking today? Is President Hakainde Hichilema delivering his campaign promises, or has he delivered his campaign promises? This is a question that we are asking right here on Meet Your Leaders. And of course, the guest that we have is the presidential campaign team member from the mobilizing committee by the name of Beene Hachoombwa. Mr. Hachoombwa, welcome back. Are you here? Are you able to hear me?
Okay, yeah, we can get you very well.
Okay, perfect. So before internet rudely interrupted us, I was talking about the employment of over 11,000 health workers, as well as over 13,000 school teachers, 11,000 school teachers, 13,000 health workers. This has come with its own reaction from different stakeholders, opposition political parties, who say that these are conventional jobs which each and every government, each and every year, must employ at least a certain number of people in these sectors. Do you think that is a deliverable that President Hichilema has made, looking at his promise?
Well, I want to tell you that if there's something which is very difficult now, is being in the opposition because you've got nothing to talk about. So those colleagues who are busy, saying it's one of the things. Yes, it's one of the things because it's a campaign promise. Now, when you look at the recruitments, you are talking about the recruitments we've done of over 11,000 health workers, over 30,000 teachers. We'll not talk about the Zambia army, the Zambia police, the Zambia. No, we're just talking about these recruitments. Go back to your history, look at where we're coming from independence. If there's any president in this country that has recruited such a big number at once, go back to your records. You realize that it is President Hakainde Hichilema now, within 1 year, 6 months of being in office, priority was to caution the teacher-pupil relationship, patient, nurse, doctor relationship, to ensure that we service the people of Zambia. No wonder we're saying our role is to offer service. Anyone that wants to join active politics now must realize that they are coming in to service the people of Zambia. We're not coming in to joke here. So I think that was very important, colleague, to mention that we in the UPND are forecast to deliver. And look at the way the recruitments were done. You didn't need to know Beene Hachoombwa. You didn't need to know Hakainde Hichilema. All you needed is the correct qualification where you are and you'll be recruited. And we saw testimonies of how people were jubilating that in the past for them to be recruited, they needed to pay something. But now it's a different story. So what I'm saying is we have brought in a good environment. The national cake in the country must be shared by that common Zambian from Kaputa who does not know anyone in government. They need to join government on their own because they qualify, because they're a teacher, because they're a nurse. We've done that recruitment, we've done it perfectly without anybody crying. Even when we're hearing our own members are saying, no, we were left out. These recruitments were picked on merit. You don't need, we didn't pick UPND members, we picked Zambian people. And that is very important to mention, colleague, Mr. Ban, that Zambians to us are a priority. And we're not segregating where you are coming from, Mr. Band. Even when you come from, you know, is it this constituency in Eastern Province, Rumezi, yeah, where this stubborn boy is coming from. You're given an equal opportunity. What are we saying? We are saying the new Dawn government has brought in equality, equity, if you like to call it. Thank you.
All right. Now, like you've rightly put it, to say the new donor administration looked at balancing the teacher-pupil ratio. With the introduction of free education, of course, bodies that teachers are affiliated to, like the National Quality Education of Zambia, NACES, they've stressed, concerns to say that because of the free education policy and children flood in classes because they have been now given an opportunity to step into the class, it's like the teacher pupil ratio again has gone down. One teacher is teaching at least not less than 40, 30 pupils in a class. uh, Here, how is like how do we sort out this issue? Because it's like we've gone back to less teachers and more pupils in class.
Well, even though I'm struggling to get you, but I think I've gotten what you are saying. What is important here is you and me to agree that number one, a lot of young people were not going to school. We need to agree. So what you are seeing now in schools is a true reflection of free education. everybody is able to go to school for free. So we identified a problem that children were not going to school. And the president has said, I am a product of free education myself. Let us allow young people to go to school. And people are going to school for free. What about that? Congratulations, President. Number two, President has increased constituency development fund to enable constituencies, because we want schools in every constituencies. And we are seeing colleagues, in rural parts of the country and other parts, they're showing us the 3x1 extension of what they have under the CDF, free education. Under the CDF again, desks are being made. By the way, we need to be very clear and categorical here, not to forget that the UPND government is the government that banned importation of desks, if you like, from China. No one is allowed to import a desk from China today, because people will not get a Kazamfi the way they used to get in the previous regimes. Today, Akainde is telling you that young people, young cooperatives that were training through what we are calling skills development under CDF again. Remember, CDF is at 28.3 million kwacha annually per constituency across all the 156 constituencies across this country at a fair note. So, children in Luwensenshi, in Polo Conso, in Kanchivia, in Monze, in Wengo, where I'm coming from, should not sit down on the floor, because cooperatives have been empowered with funds to go to school. Number one, to train how to be carpenters, to train how to be bricklayers, to train how to do things. Then they have to get contracts where they're coming from to produce a desk. No, now this free education policy that we have under our manifesto, page 3, has not only been welcomed by the young boys and girls, but also it has given jobs and opportunities, if you like, to a young person who does not want to go, who failed to go to school, but they wanted a skill. They are able to go and get a skill to make a desk. That's a plus. So we are questioning the problem here. We've identified what is a problem. The problem is we understood that a lot of young people were unable to go to school. Today, they're going to school. Now, we are questioning the problem of desks. Every school now has been given a directive. There's a directive that they need to produce desks to ensure that no one should sit on the floor. 30,000 teachers were recruited because we understood that there's free education. So a lot of young people will be going back to school. Now, after this restructuring of this debt, expect more teachers again to be recruited. Thank you.
So that is very much well noted. You are talking about issues to do with CDF. Yes, the increment from 1.6 to 23, and now it's 28. And it also comes with its own, you know, I would say ups and downs, where we've seen people complaining here and there to say they've not seen CDF or they've not heard about CDF. And this is a score, obviously, increasing CDF and decentralizing government under the UPND. Since you are in the campaign team for President Hakainde Hichilema, how are you seeing to the fact that this same CDF at least gets to an average Zambian out there that is complaining that they've not seen CDF? They only watch people talking about CDF on TV, when in their own constituencies, they've not even heard a councillor talking about CDF.
No wonder, because the general
Honorable, are you here?
member is calling the country. Sure that this project, I mean, the
Okay, you've become
because
very
we've
low.
noted
I
so
can
much
hardly hear
sabotage
you.
in some parts of the country.
Honorable.
Hello, are you there?
No, you've become very low. I can hardly hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Okay, perhaps let's try to refresh connectivity. Obviously, this can be due to connectivity issues, as I can still not be able to get you. You've become very low. All right. So, of course, what we do, let's get to go on a very short break. And then when we come back, of course, we continue talking to Honorable Beene Hachoombwa as we are still discussing the deliverables of President Hakainde Hichilema, looking at the promises that he had made when he was coming into government. Has he delivered on those promises, or is he delivering those campaign promises? Of course, you are watching Meet Your Leaders on Ubuntu. Honorable, welcome back. Honorable, are you there? All right, Director, let's get to go on a short break. And then when we come back, obviously, we'll be able to have the Honorable back and continue talking about this, that which we are discussing here. So let's take that short break.
Globally, 85% of infertility is because of infections, typically the chlamydia and the gonorrhea.
Your time is up. Thank you so much.
Okay, since I've been mentioned, I can react to what comment Chinda just
Yes.
I haven't finished my point.
Remember,
No, let me finish my point so that my brother can.
Does the Patriotic Front know the kind of damage they have done to our economy and to our country? I do not.
The alleged abduction of Beene Hachoombwa, and this case has really kept us on our toes. And in as much as
nobody has been acquitted from this new dawn administration cases that have been started. There's nobody that has been acquitted. Okay.
CJ, foreplay. I'm not talking about jump and begin acting like a kangaroo. No, foreplay. Many of us as Africans, we lack this virtue. This is not there.
Yeah, the time twaje ku Malabo. What's our the first game twale tena wa Senegal. I think very tutasana underrated because even the warm up, you can see the way they are doing warm up. Bale munakati bola na bawina kale nyo.
All right, so welcome back, and definitely you are still on Ubuntu channel as we are still discussing President Hakainde Hichilema and delivering his campaign promises. This evening, I'm playing host to Honorable Beene Hachoombwa, who is in the presidential campaign team, talking about the mobilization committee. Honorable, welcome back.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right. So before we went on a break, obviously the question I was asking was an issue to do with the CDF as much as it is a score where it has been increased and it has been it has been sent to the constituencies for constituents to use it accordingly, which means the decentralization of government. You, as a presidential campaign member of President Hakainde Hichilema, how are you seeing to it that this CDF has an impact on the different constituents, as we have seen many people coming through or coming across to say that they've never seen this CDF, they just hear it from people?
Number one, through our Secretary General, you've seen that he's in Western Province today, also on his continued forward to monitor. I think that is a plus to us because he's representing us, as Secretary General, and we want to make it very clear that it's upon every MP councillor to ensure that they take this CDF very seriously, because we've seen a lot of people who think the CDF is money for them to put in their pocket. The CDF is not money for you to build mansions. CDF is money for the poor. And also, when when you say that other people are saying that they have not seen the fruits of the CDF, let us put the blame on their parliamentarian, because money has been distributed equally. And parliamentarians have a responsibility, colleague, if you like, to sensitize their people on how to go about, how to benefit from this CDF. That is very important. But we are seeing a situation now where people are very reluctant to that extent, and in fact, they are hiding information. They don't want people to know. And I want to warn such MPs, such councillors, such committees for CDF, what is it WDCs, to say we are watching. And I want to take also this opportunity to call on the Office of the Auditor General to ensure that they consider to audit the CDF for 2022, because every constituency must account for what they used. Every constituency must tell the people of Zambia how the money was utilized. I think for us, even part of the change is accountability, being responsible for whatever we do. Thank you.
Now, if you talk about accountability and all that, obviously, you know that if CDF fails, people will not look at the MP or anyone else. Of course, they will look at President Hichilema, because they will say, as much as he tried by all means to decentralize government by delivering this amount of money to these constituencies, he did not give a framework, or probably he did not give a policy direction through the ministries that are handling the issues of CDF. So this comes back to President Hakainde.
The policy direction was given, a directive was given. We cannot release colossal sums of money to constituencies without a policy direction. Policy direction was given. So it is up to people where they are coming from to ensure that they actualize, the president will give a directive. It's up to you and myself to make that directive actualized. So no wonder Secretary General is moving around the country, constituency by constituency, to get first-hand information, because we don't want to be sabotaged, because we are seeing some parts of the Patriotic Front constituencies, they are keeping the CDF in their accounts. They don't want to use it because they are scared that
all right, are you still here, Honorable? Honorable, are you still here? All right, we seem to have lost Honorable Beene Hachoombwa right there. Obviously, this is due to connectivity issues right there. But hey, you can still be part of the program when you come through via the link that we have shared with you as we are in the dying moments of the program. So you can simply come through into the studio, join us live, or better still, you can still leave your messages and we'll be glad to go through them and read them so that we can get your thoughts. Do you think President Hakainde Hichilema is delivering on his campaign promises? And of course, my guest this evening is Honorable Beene Hachoombwa. Director, if we have messages, perhaps let's get to read some messages as the guest seems to be failing to connect. Perhaps we can call it a wrap due to the non-availability of network for our guest this particular evening. Or maybe what we can do, director, if maybe we can be allowed to bring back our guest next week as we continue talking about this, as there is still so much to talk about, especially things to do with the campaign promises that President Hakainde Hichilema made. Let's get to close the program today, unfortunately, early. This is due to network for our guest that has failed him, and then probably we'll be able to bring him back next week to get to talk or discuss about these issues. Thank you so much for being part of the program this particular evening. This is where we have to say our bye-byes. Have a blessed and pleasant evening. We'll be back again next week with Meet Your Leaders right here on Ubuntu channel. Good evening.